What's going on, everybody? I am the Raging Brolia. And today, I want to share a quickish story about some of the rabbit holes I went down recently. I showed a friend of mine this classic, beloved, and masterfully acted scene from Death Note.
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
His reaction was a simple, "What the f?" So after a laugh, I told him the context of that scene, during which I noticed something. You see, I've been studying Japanese for the last few months in hopes of maybe one day becoming a professional Japanese to English translator, and a proper translator. You know, one who actually pays respects to the source material and to the Japanese culture and the Japanese language. Not someone who inserts Western wokey ideological current year bullshit into it. Now, that said, I couldn't help but try to read the bag of chips after I sent him that clip. Now, I'm still in the process of memorizing the katakana, so it was slow going at first. Ah yes, for those who don't know, let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up. In Japanese, there are 3 alphabets: katakana, hiragana, and kanji. Katakana is specifically used to spell out things that are foreign to the Japanese language. Take, for instance, France, or furansu. You would not spell that in hiragana characters. You would use katakana. Which brings us to Light's bag of chips. Let's dive in. When I read it, I was a little confused. These big letters here are pote chippu, which you could deduce as potato chips. At first, I wondered why it wasn't chippu-su, because A, you wouldn't say a bag of potato chip, you would say a bag of potato chips. And B, I wondered why it wasn't pote to chippu-su. I didn't look it up at first, but I wondered if maybe pote is like the Japanese word for potato, or maybe it's just shorthanded slang. But then, I suddenly remembered Marin Kitagawa's cute little chant from My Dress Up Darling.
五条くん、ポテトもちょうだい。
はい。
ポテトポテト。お、メニューあるじゃん。ポテトポテト。
God, she's so cute. Anyway, my confusion was only growing from there when I looked at the letters again. The tsu character here is not pronounced. When it's small like this, it's called a chiisai tsu. It draws out the syllable a little, and when you write it in romanji, or English text, you double up on the following letter. So it's not chippu, it's chippu. It's a subtle difference, but that's kind of how it works in a nutshell, to the best of my knowledge and ability to explain right now. But that's not what really confused me. Look at this character right here, yo. When a letter from the Y column, ya, yu, and yo, is small and follows a letter, it's called a diagraph, and it changes the pronunciation. So, in this case, chi becomes cho. And this is what threw me off. This means that Light is eating pote choppu, or potato chops? Potato chops.
Pote chop. Potato chops.
My first thought was, why though? Are they doing that copyright dodging thing by changing the name of something? Like the TV that Light has in the bag? Casio instead of Casio? Or like Morley cigarettes as seen in the X-Files? Or...
I know a genuine Panaphonics when I see it. And look, there's Magnetbox and Zorny.
But if that's the case, then who would own the name Potato Chips then? And it's not like potato chips are overly foreign to the Japanese either. I mean, have you seen the snack aisles in any Asian food stores? Their snacks are crazy awesome! But I digress. We'll come back to this in a minute. The katakana characters here in the banner are clearly the flavor of the chips. I misread it at first, reading it as konrime, which I thought could be corn lime? Well, corn chips are a thing. Lime chips are a thing, but wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Lime in Japanese would be raimu. So taking another look at these letters, I realized, wait a minute, that's not a ri character, that's so, you big moron.
Absolutely terrible!
So that makes this word consomme. And I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, consomme, that French soup. So I looked up consomme chips, and lo and behold, what do I find? Bam! Consomme chips. I also found this article on Sora News 24, and I quote, Consomme potato chips are a bit of a peculiarity in Japan. They're basically Japan's equivalent to barbecue flavor in Western countries in terms of prevalence. The taste isn't far off either, but consomme chips are much less spicy and deliver more on the savory department with a more meaty and tomato-y taste overall. End quote. Okay, honestly, that sounds pretty good. I would very much love to try some of these. Ah, but wait, what's this on Light's bag? It hit me when I was at the snack aisle in an Asian supermarket my wife and I go to. A brand called Kalbi. And in Death Note, it's Galbi. The fonts are similar and spelled differently, so it looks like my first hunch was right. They were doing a fake name.
You can't show a serial killer eating our chips. It'll make us look bad somehow.
Well, I don't know about that. Personally, I'm Team Kira. So, I would totally eat potato chops. How about you? So, that's one mystery solved, I guess. Light was eating, not Kalbi, consomme chips. This is one of those things I figure is probably not that big a deal, but I had fun going down this rabbit hole, and I thought it'd be one of those things to make you go, oh, hey, that's neat. Now we know!
And knowing is half the battle. And the other half is violence.
Rolita!